Hey guys, Aaron Zagarba here, and welcome back to the Indie Filmmaker. And today, in our second episode, we are going over how me and a guest star that we invited onto the show today, how we made the No Clip short film. Currently, it's on my Slyfox TV YouTube channel, but it will eventually be on my Aaron Zagarba channel soon. So, I'm here to introduce Toby Draper.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me. I love the intro music you picked. That was so nice. So what questions do you want to talk about involving what was it called? No Clip?
Yeah.
I never remembered the title of anything that I try to film.
So, I guess first, we can just introduce you and kind of like go over maybe some of the projects you might have done or whatever kind of stuff, like basic stuff like that. And
Okay. None of it. I don't think any. Well, a couple of my stuff has been put on YouTube for the Cumberlands, or the University of the Cumberlands like channel on YouTube. But like, I don't think anyone's really seen it. I think they're better off because there was this one vampire thing I did, and it was with like a $2 budget. I mean, we had the equipment, here of course, but like okay, so. It was called For Blood, and it was based off of this like alchemist story I've been working on since I was 16. So I was trying to kind of kickstart that way too early, and what ended up happening with that was I tried to do this Dracula thing, and what ended up happening with that story in the movie is that if you look closely, he has like fangs I bought from Wish, and we couldn't get it. Didn't come with the adhesive to stick it to his teeth, right? So, and this guy was fully committed to it. He was like, whatever we have, like if we have glue, just put it in the teeth and I'll put it in and I'll be fine. To quote it, he said, "I'm gonna Joaquin Phoenix this," and I was like, okay. So we grabbed like a stick of that purple glue and just scrubbed it real deep into the fang, put it on his teeth, and we just filmed that. And if you look closely when you watch that, and it's on YouTube somewhere, when you watch it, if you look closely, you can see the purple from the fang in his tooth. So don't watch that. Not a good movie. There's also a bit where I'm like the whole dialogue bit. I'm quoting Psalms because it's supposed to be horror and creepy, and like my voice in that is awful. Which is I think another reason why I'm like I can't be an actor. There was that project, and then there was this other one that was also on YouTube. It was about depression. I was in a weird place when I did that one. Don't watch that one either. It's black and white. Nothing wrong with black and white movies and stuff, but like, it wasn't good. Like, there's only one bit I liked about it, which was that this is Dustin. For those of you watching. But
it was really funny because he was like, "Oh, hello, this is our prized possession." Tobias
I'm the
Draper.
star. Yeah,
and this is our little errand boy, our little boy man. My name's Dustin Taylor, boy man. So you go right ahead with your
AKA Boy Man. Is that trademarked?
Yeah, it's mine now. I will sue.
I'm gonna remember that. But it's called I think I called it The Shapes of Water. Like basically I was going through a massive depression thing when I filmed it, and I just had, and to be honest, my whole reasoning for making that was just to get a grade, to get to the vampire thing, which wasn't good either.
Right.
I tried to make that good, but it was awful. Like the coffin in that vampire thing, because there's a bit where the alchemist, my character, he kicks this coffin open. There's no coffin. It's a wooden panel. My sister's laying in it. She's the vampire that I like kill. She's probably the only part of the movie that actually looked great. Everything else, pure garbage. Well, okay, that's not true. Some of the shots I got of the church here, I made look really, really creepy. And so that worked too. But like, okay, I think the atmosphere of it worked. So like if I showed this to like a film company, they would look at it and be like, this is an awful movie, but you have the atmosphere down. And so that is something. But I did that Shapes of Water thing, the depression thing. I'm not going to go into detail of why I was depressed, mostly because I don't care now.
Hey, that's the best part about it.
Well, yeah, exactly. I'm doing a lot better now. But I was under a lot of depression stuff, and I mostly did it just so I can get a grade. But one thing I did like about it was a way for me to test my cinematography stuff, how to do that. And some of the shots are really bad, some of them are really good. But at the end of it, in the original script for it, he basically, like because it's just me, the main character falls down, and he's a writer, and he can't write. He's stuck in this like limbo. He can't get writing because he's in a fog. His brain's in a fog.
Yeah, it's a writer's block.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I was looking for. He's got this writer's block because I get that all the time.
I'm very familiar.
Yeah, you get it. You're a writer too. And basically, in the original script that I wrote, because you have to write the script and then turn it in class, and then the teacher kind of approves it and is like, yeah, you can do that. So basically what ended up happening was in the script, he's walking and he collapses and his paper falls into a puddle and the whole thing gets wet. But at the center, the one part of the paper that doesn't get wet is this word, is a word, and it's hope. And that's the end of the story. So basically he finds a way to get hope. That I couldn't really do it that way because there was a lot of limitations. Again, there was no money to it. It was just me with a camera and paper and a pencil. But at the end of it, what I did was I changed it up to be he's in the shower alone, depressed, and he's trying to rip apart his papers. But then he gets to one, and that same thing happens. The only part of the paper that isn't wet, and it's the word hope. So I was able to still do that, just not in the way I wrote it. I would say that one is a little better as far as the message goes, because the message comes across clear, whereas the vampire one, it's like, what? But other than that, I don't.
Nothing that says nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. There's nothing to it other than like I said, the atmosphere works a lot better. So whenever I was able to do no clip, again, it wasn't the story I had made, but my fiance had gotten me at the time. She had just started showing me some backroom stuff and kind of getting me she's also showing me SCPs and all this other stuff like that, and that was very interesting to me. So when Mr. Floyd emailed me and was like, hey, Aaron needs some help with this assignment. He's wanting to do a film thing. And I was like, I'm in. I had a tight schedule, and there was a lot of rough life stuff I was going on with, which I'm still sorry about. But I did try to help the best I could with it. I really had a good time with No Clip. But other than that, there's not really anything I've really done as far as film stuff goes. I do want to make movies. Well, I've done a lot of talking. Let's have other people talk.
Yeah, please.
But he acted in the No Clip film. So if you recognize him, he was the monster in the film, and he was also the guy who basically has been surviving the backrooms for a very long time, and he was just his mind was slowly deteriorating. This is one of his famous scenes right here. No Clip, scene 9, 10, 11, take 4. You can see I added the clip there. So this is one of the monster scenes. I can't remember exactly which one I used. Magnificent performance.
Oh, that was great.
Amazing.
I mean, just
to specify, Dustin, since you've not seen it, basically, we were filming me just screaming a bunch in a hallway and chasing after him with the camera.
Yeah.
And so it's all in first person essentially for him, but I'm at the end of the hallway and I'm looking all twisted and freaky.
Yeah,
even my feet look like they're lanky, and I'm just screaming at him.
Out of context, this sounds hilarious.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And what was even funnier was there was a lot of teachers and advisors and students that were walking by that we'd have to we'd have to warn them, hey, we're gonna be screaming and running through the hallway. It's gonna be weird.
Yeah.
But there was one person I remember that walked by, they were leaving, because there was these two interconnected hallways, and they were leaving to go the other way, and we weren't there, but we were definitely running in that direction, and basically all she heard at first was the that scream, and then him running with the camera after her, and then me chasing after her. And I think wasn't there a point where eventually I was just like, all right, to make it look like I'm not wearing human cloth, I want to look a little demented and try to be as creepy as unhinged and weird as possible.
It's my favorite part right here.
I took my shirt off. So when we did that, I had my shirt off. So all she saw was this dude with a big heavy camera running away from this shirtless guy with long hair that's chasing after him in this hallway, screaming like a little girl. That's what I hope that was the best part of her day.
It's really this meme right here.
Oh, this is beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. But to be fair, we did several screams. I did several different screams, but they were all of the same result, mostly just for the most part. So we edited and put like a more demented scream into it. So the scream that's in the final product isn't what you just heard.
Yeah,
because
unfortunately.
well, that's the thing, is that we were trying to go for this scary thing, and so like if we had done this whole thing, because the whole thing's building up to seeing this creature.
Yeah.
The whole movie's building up to that. That was their idea. That was Aaron's idea, and so the whole thing's building up to it. It's the money shot basically. And so if the money shot is this creepy, demented looking thing in the hallway, that's the silhouette, right? And then you hear that comes after you, that's not gonna be effective. And so when we were doing the editing, we were like, we're gonna give him we're gonna make him sound actually scary. So we put in our own scream. Do you have that clip? I want him to see this.
Here, I can show it again.
I'll tell you one thing.
I got it.
Yeah. You see it, Dustin?
I see it. Oh well.
Turn the computer around.
I don't remember that being the wait. Okay.
That might not have been the exact same clip we used.
There's this one.
That was
Scene
another.
9, 10, 11, 6.
That's right, because these are the outtakes. See, that was another scream,
Yeah.
but that's not the one we used. There was one.
There's
that,
a
like,
lot.
There's a lot, but there was like for the final cut, I remember what we used was this exact shot where, because it looks all. We even edited it to where like the camera isn't even in perfect focus. Because when we're filming it, you could see everything was pretty clear.
Yeah.
When we edited it, we tried to make it look compressed and like almost like, I guess for me it was the idea that like this, whatever this entity is, you wouldn't be able to film it properly because of whatever weird nuances around it is.
Yeah.
Like, because there's SCPs that like you can't even blink without it killing you or whatever. So like
Yeah.
I like to think that the idea here was that like for whatever reason you can't pick up a proper footage of this thing because because it's an SCP, you know, whatever, you know.
These sort of things.
But we basically, the scream we had, what we finally used was this one that was like and like it built, like the scream builds up, and it also like I kind of intentionally made it a little ear rape.
It was so good.
But it was so good. But the only reason I made it like that was because I was like, it's unhinged. It's supposed to. We're building up to this. How messed up would it be if it just hurt your ears to see this thing scream? So I just turned up, like, I remember the volume knob for when we were editing in post. I just turned it all the way up. Like I didn't even try to be like, yeah, we're gonna make sure it's okay. I was like, we're gonna go past the regular level.
We're gonna break the equipment to get there.
Pretty much, yeah. That's kind of what I did. But I think it paid off. I loved working on No Clip. I think that's the best project I've like ever, been a part of and filmed and done. That's turned out half all right, because like I said, all the other ones I've done, it's garbage. No Clip, at least it's a cheap budget thing. There's a horror element to it, so like it was easier to do.
Yeah, the next one will be amazing.
Oh,
The
yeah,
next
I'm
project.
I'm
We
looking
don't want
forward
to
to that.
we don't want to give away too much, Nick.
But I am looking forward. To
I
that.
didn't say what it was.
I am looking forward to that though. I'm very excited.
Well,
Producer man.
I didn't
but
even get to introduce
keep that under wraps.
myself.
Yeah, sorry. You can go.
And we're 13 minutes in.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, I'm Nick, and I helped Aaron create the No Clip movie. But it was different.
Yeah.
There was a different scenario where we were in a grocery store, and there was a demented freezer, but we couldn't get the grocery store.
The idea had to change because of the video production class we had. So we changed it to the No Clip idea, and then like, of course, we got Toby on board. Well, Floyd told me about Toby,
Yep.
and we met up and started working on the whole thing, kind of rewriting the whole thing.
We
Also,
even go ahead. Sorry.
we got the camera that I filmed it on. I made sure
Yeah.
I brought it for this episode.
Yeah, I
Here,
remember that camera.
this
Yeah.
this is my favorite camera out of all of them. The HMC 150. It's a
This-
masterpiece of a camera.
Now
This is
I
what
was
we were
not
running
part
around
of the
with.
filming.
Yeah, we were running around with this big camera. It's not
It's
as,
like 12 or something years old. It's pretty old for
it's
a
not
camera.
as heavy. It's still a good camera though. Like I don't remember it being
Yeah.
this light. I remember it being heavier than this. Well, I think we had a bunch of stuff attached to it too.
Yeah,
But
it's a nice beast of a camera.
yeah, it's beautiful.
I mean, back in the day when they're advertising, it's you know when it's old when like the way they're advertising for the camera, they're advertising like SD cards, new thing, full HD, brand new
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
You know, that's when you know it's pretty old.
Well, you can also tell it's old whenever they advertise how light it is.
Yeah.
Because now, like, you can get a camera that's like that can do everything that can and more. That's like as big as my
A
phone.
fourth of its size.
Yeah, like, but still, like, it's a great camera to use, and I prefer cameras like that or that Canon one that you're holding
Right
on to
here.
anyway. A lot of the movies that I filmed that I was making fun of that I had done, I used a camera like that.
This is like this is another camera we used. We barely used this camera, which is like my main video camera, the
Yeah.
80D, the Canon 80D.
Mm-hmm.
The only part we actually used it in was like the scenes where we had my character setting up the camera equipment and stuff. That was the only time we used it. The rest of it was done on this big beast of a camera.
Well, I think that
Yeah.
contrasts the quality because, like,
Yeah.
and that makes it interesting too because, like, it's all HD with that Canon camera, the littler one, when we're in the real world, you know, and then you touch that chair and clip in, and then all of a sudden, it's your camera that you brought with you, being like, oh crap, you know, everything-
720p.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that makes it more effective. As far as like narratively goes, like I showed a few people this that like my fiance and them, I showed them no clip, and I was like, this is what I helped film, you know. I hope you like it, and they watched it and they were like, this is actually really good. This is scary. And I was like, yeah, I know, I was in it. But
the
Yeah.
bravado on this one is
well,
hey,
The hardest
can't say
part-
it's not well deserved.
true.
The hardest part's the writing
Yeah,
This-
for
absolutely.
it, though. The new show has a lot of good stuff,
Yeah, I'm
but
pretty
we've just
excited.
kept it under wrap.
I mean, I don't blame you. You know, I'm very excited to see what it.
I'm gonna
where it
build
goes.
up that excitement for the show. So
So like, how gory is well, I don't know if we're gonna talk about that. How gory is my death gonna be? In that?
we're planning on doing pretty, I guess, gory.
Like
right,
Evil
Nick?
Dead.
Let's just say Toby will be a little gory.
All right. Okay. Good.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
We're gonna have to do some like
Makeup a few.
makeup and facial work
That's
to
totally
like
fine.
distort the face. So that's kind of like the plan.
I'm down for all that
Terribly
stuff.
sorry. He was tragically killed by a rubber duck.
That knowing me, that ain't a surprise.
And then
It's gonna be great, though.
Oh, I'm excited. I'm very much looking forward to doing all that stuff.
We wanted to do the back room,
Mhm.
but we couldn't find a way to do it. But then Aaron came to me. It's just like, kind of do your own thing. And I was like, okay. And I wrote a story that worked with the back room.
That's great. I think that's awesome because I'm excited for it. I really am.
It's original.
Yeah, exactly, and that's another reason why I'm interested in it because there's not really a lot of original stuff with big budget movies and stuff going
yeah,
on
it's
right
just
now. I mean, there's
it's
some.
the same.
It's the
To
same
me, a
thing.
lot of times it's just the same thing. Superhero movies repeat, or the
Yeah.
villain gets resurrected somehow.
Yeah. Well,
And-
A24 is still doing some wonderful stuff, but really, like,
Oh, yeah.
other than them and maybe a couple other companies that I can't name on top of my head right now, but other than that, there really isn't much going on. And like, I mean, come on, even Star Wars, one of the best film franchises ever, is died in a sense.
Now, I do like this.
What is it?
Nick, you
I
can
need
go.
to find it.
Oh, he's looking up that.
Okay, okay.
But
I like this show.
it's that
Andor.
he put it in the background.
Oh, yeah, I've been waiting for Andor to finish. I've heard good things. I've heard really
It's
good things.
it's good.
I've heard good things as well.
Yeah,
but
same
I
with-
do it
I'm
on my
very
part.
surprised by
Right, right.
because I've ended up hating everything that Disney's been putting out, and I know him and I are gonna have a fist fight over it at one point, but it's just the way I feel about it.
Some of it we agree with, but some of it we don't.
That's
But
fair.
anyway,
that's
you know.
fair. But aside from that, what else were you going on about?
I was gonna go into like how we got the sound because for the No Clip Mail movie, it was just really interesting how we recorded the sounds because I wanted to get that ambiance of just like the
Evil.
back rooms, the humming and the clanking of machinery. One way we did it was by doing this.
Oh, I loved how we did this. That's right.
We went in the washing machine area where we were filming. It's like, I guess, the sports area or whatever.
Yeah, there was so to give you context, Dustin, basically this hallway, essentially there was a lot of different hallways, and we found a lot of different places to film at. But altogether, it was the same building, and it's where the I think the basketball team. I think it was the basketball team because it's where
Yeah,
the gym
yeah,
is,
yeah.
right? It's in the building across from here.
Yeah, the wellness center.
Yeah, yeah. Well, basically, so they have like a whole bunch of like washing machines. They have a spot for showers, you know, things like that. They even have a swimming pool and stuff. Well, like Aaron was saying, we found a big old washing machine, and what we did, we didn't ask anyone permission to do this either. We basically just went up to it, grabbed one of our recording things. I don't think we threw the recording thing in
We
there.
recorded it with this, and we had another recorder, one of the DR40s, at the studio. So we got like both of those bad boys, and like just
Yeah, we literally just turned the knob on one of those washing machines, just pressed a button, just recorded it for like what, 5 minutes, 10
something
minutes.
like that.
Recorded it for as long as we needed, and then we went on. And we did it. Well, we did it several times to make sure that we had a bunch to work with because it made a lot of different sounds every time.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
effective. Very effective. Like it ended up because it doesn't. When you listen to it, it doesn't sound necessarily like it's a washing machine especially when you're watching it.
Another interesting sound we caught was this. So in this area, there's like a generator or something. I think it's
Yeah.
for the pool.
It is.
Or something like that, and it makes like weird, freaky noises. We stuck the recorder right up against the door and just like let it run. You can barely hear it in the clip, but it goes like, you
Yeah,
hear
it
that
hums.
humming, you know. It's just, oh my gosh, the sounds and the Foley, everything just.
That's the thing. We couldn't get into the actual generator but
Yeah.
there was like literally the way it was set up. You could tell. You open the door and there it is.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't. Because I know there was another generator they had right beside the pool. We were
it was
trying to
like
use, they wouldn't
the
let us.
filter, whatever it was, you know.
Yeah. They wouldn't let us go in there and film or record that at all. They were pretty mean.
Yeah.
Those guys. I remember that they ran the swimming pool stuff. They were pretty mean because we were just like, hey, we're trying to do this for an assignment, and they were like, no,
No.
like hardcore. Like they were not very nice about it. And I remember when we were leaving, I was cussing to Aaron a bunch, being like, you know, well, these guys, screw those guys, you know, and went on. I was like, we'll find
Yeah.
something. That's when we found the generator out on the other side of where they were sitting. So I was like, we'll record this. Sometimes you gotta break the rules. I'm not saying go and break the law or anything whenever you go and film stuff, but I am saying look at Sam Raimi. I mean, he had to do the same thing. You know, look at Bruce Campbell. He got the crap beat out of him in those movies. You know what I mean? So like that's the thing. Sometimes you gotta be unconventional. And so we just be like,
Oh, yeah.
there's a generator behind this door. Okay. And just press record and go.
I mean, it's like you can get sounds with all kinds of weird freaking stuff that you'd never think.
Oh
like-
yeah.
And that's all we were doing. We were just trying to get sounds. We weren't even trying to like record anything in the pool or in the generator. Really, we were just trying to like grab one of those audio recording things and just record it for 5 minutes. Go.
They're
Yeah.
like, you can't
And if
steal
you
our pool
snap like
secrets. We can't let them see. We can't let them
Sorry.
see the generators. We can't let them see the
If you
bodies.
snap a piece of celery, it sounds like bones breaking.
Yeah.
That's how they do it.
Yeah, they do that a lot. They also like. Do you guys know how they did the? Do you know how in the Matrix, the first one, like the punches and like the slaps and stuff, they sound
yeah.
really
Yeah.
really cool. The way they did that was they got like these two really really buff, sweaty guys, and like they just like locked hands, and they would just press each other's chests against each other, and then like they would just slap each other's elbows onto each other. Basically, they were just smacking each other's muscles and fat. But it works because like when you hear the punches and stuff in the Matrix and all that slaps and those karate kicks and stuff, it sounds like it sounds like whips.
Yeah.
Like you feel every hit. It's the
Yeah.
same thing, man.
I actually have a little bit of experience in that. Well, not experience, but what I've seen. So for Mortal Kombat 11, they
Oh, yeah,
they
this
did
is a good
behind the
example.
scenes. I'm not gonna go into it in detail, but there are a couple of broken bones and a couple of not so pleasurable desires as far as
It's the celery.
It's Mortal Kombat.
yeah, it's
very
Mortal
bloody.
Kombat. You know what to expect. So they had like
Yeah.
for the sound of a certain body part crushing, they would have like a watermelon filled up with this sort of cream,
and then they would just take a sledgehammer and just smash it. And my favorite one is they would just take it's the simplest one, but it's so effective. They just took a whole bunch of celery and they would just crack it, and it sounds exactly what you think what bones would sound like if they were to crack.
Yep.
And
Or if
my
the blood
personal
comes
favorite-
out, it's like some juice.
Yeah, like
But it's the weirdest thing.
Grape juice.
yeah, it's like grapefruit or something, and they just crush it with their foot. and
Yeah.
you hear the yeah, that like I've had to do that. Like there was one project I did a while back where I wanted the sound of because someone gets shot in the head in like this thing I filmed a while back.
Yes.
I guess it was my Tarantino rip-off thing, but whatever. Basically, someone gets shot in the head, and then you don't really see you see the silhouette of their brains exploding and stuff, but basically what I did for that is I have a curtain, a lot like what you have behind you, Aaron. I have that curtain, and I had him in front of it, and I had my sister and his girlfriend at the time grab a whole I bought a watermelon, cut it in half with like my katana. I have a katana, yeah. And I brought a katana to set so I could do this, and so we cut it in half with this katana, and then we crunched up a whole bunch of we made it real messy and squishy and grimy. And I was behind, the drape, and I had like this light shine on him, to where he could do this and do the movement of being shot in the head. And then I had him back away. Mm-hmm. And as he was backing away, I had my sister and his girlfriend at the time throwing watermelon chunks at the blanket. Yeah. But it looks exactly like brains. Looks exactly like there's brains just splattering everywhere.
That's a really good effect.
Yeah. It was it worked a lot, but he falls down after we cut to him falling in regular because I filmed that in 4K to do the slow mo. Then you cut to regular, and he just falls, and I wanted the sound of when he hits the more stuff coming out because you don't see it,
right?
But he does hit the ground, and you see him you see him falling. So whenever that impact happens, I just use the sound effect of us just squishing getting the brains ready. Yeah. We basically just got that together, and while we were doing that, I just recorded them doing that, used it, and so really all you gotta do is get a fruit, crush it, you'll get some great audio sounds. So you'll get wonderful audio sounds.
By the way, before we continue, I just love the idea. I love the fact that me sitting here with an Akatsuki hat is not the one that owns a katana, but this man over here.
To be
He's
fair,
got the Naruto hat.
To be fair, I bought this when I was 13 years old.
That sounds about
It was $300, and I don't know how
It was like a mall katana, wasn't it?
Something like that. Yeah, it was like a vendor's mall katana.
Vendor's mall katana.
Yeah, but it's a great katana. I've had it for years. It's a great katana. But come on, it cut a watermelon. So. And the way I did it was so unconventional too. Jesus, Mr. Floyd's gonna kill me. So basically, what I did, I was because at first I was well, I'm gonna lay it on the floor and I'm gonna cut it. And my buddy that we filmed getting shot in the head, he was I got an idea. Let's go outside. And I was okay. And he was I'm gonna throw it at you. See if you can cut it. Big watermelon, by the way, this big. It's this big, right?
Big and.
And he threw it at me, and I cut it. And so in the movies and stuff, whenever you do that, it splits and it goes away from you. You're just yeah. In real life,
it continues its forward momentum and hits you.
Oh, I cut it in half. Because I know how to sword fight. I went for it. But when I did it with both hands, it still, when I split it in half, it still was going forward, and it hit my shoulders. So I pretty much and fell down. And I'm lucky that the sword didn't bounce with it and try to cut my head.
Well, that's why you gotta go full force.
Well, I did, but still, I'm lucky. And again, I'm a skinny guy, so I bought a big watermelon. I was I want to make sure that we get everything we can out of one melon.
You didn't think to sharpen it before you did this?
No. Well, we were in a hurry because we'd been filming all day, and everyone was. We had one day to film everything.
Oh, jeez.
And that was we got it, and it was decent. But if you're filming something and you're only filming it for one day, and you're filming everything in one day for a short film, not everything's going to turn out great. There's a zoom in shot of people's eyes in that I wanted to look like when they stare at each other. You see and it goes through their eyeballs. Yeah, like that,
Yeah.
It doesn't look like that at all. It does not look like that. It basically looks like the camera just got closer and then like got closer to another guy. It doesn't look like it doesn't look like when you see it in the movies, you know, like I was trying to do. So it looks like it's just this cheap.
What shot
parody.
is that? I know when they did it in Jaws, like whenever he's sitting on the beach. And
That's the dolly shot.
The dolly
I think.
shot.
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
I was trying to do sorta more like, you know how like in those like samurai movies, like whenever someone sees the
Oh, yeah.
adversary, you see the camera just like it zooms in and just
Yeah,
you know, like that, yeah.
Like they adapted in the spaghetti westerns.
I was trying to do that, yeah, exactly. But when you look at it, I had to do it in post.
Yeah.
And it looked bad. And one of them was wearing, his character wears sunglasses. So there's one guy who's getting that zoom in shot. It doesn't look terrible on him, but then the other guy, the guy that I made look like he got shot later in the movie, it's just zooming in on his sunglasses from like this angle. So like it's just
Like
it
you
was
can
bad.
still see the eye and
The other guy, he's just sunglasses. So like there's nothing to zoom in on really. Like there's no, cause like if you're doing an eye zoom in shot like that, you have to see
there's
them.
no emotion.
You have to see them looking. You know, to
That's
see
the
their
whole
eyes.
point of sunglasses is to
Yeah,
hide your
yeah.
intentions.
Well, he didn't know that I did that either until and he hadn't seen it since
Wait,
I
you
filmed.
filmed this guy without him knowing?
No, he knew I filmed it. He just
Oh.
didn't know that he hadn't seen the final product until like 2 years later.
Yeah.
And I showed him it, and he loved it. But it's because when you watch it, it feels like it's this cheap, like low budget parody. Not necessarily parody. I'm trying to, I guess, spoof of like a Tarantino thing.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
what's the word? It looks like a B movie. It definitely is a B
The
movie.
B movie script.
Yeah,
You
like
need to get the B movie
no, not the
script in
B
here.
movie, like a B movie. Like you know, what's that movie called? The Queen did the soundtrack. It was what was it called? Like Ted makes fun of it a lot. They love what Flash Gordon. That's I don't know why I forgot about that. That's when you watch that movie, it's a B movie. There's no good actors. Like there's not a good actor in the movie. There's not like it has a good soundtrack. That's because it's Queen. The production design is like a B movie is basically the idea that like nothing is really great except for like maybe some of the production elements and maybe every now and then there's one good actor in it. Like with this one, for example, my good actor was the guy who played the bad guy that was wearing sunglasses. Because he's a great actor.
It's like a Charlie Dance in Ghostbusters 2016. That was hilarious when I saw
Yes,
him
but
there.
that's not a B movie.
I know it's not a B movie. God, I wish it was.
And that's kind of the idea. And so when you watch it, you're like, this is a B movie. Like that's kind of the idea. And so when you're watching it with that kind of lens, it's a lot of fun. But if you're watching it with what I intended,
Yeah.
it's awful.
I can definitely see that.
But it was, seriously, just crush a watermelon, squish up watermelon chunks, get a banana, squish that with your foot, like, and record all that stuff. You'll get some amazing audio sounds.
That's really good. Hey, Aaron, what are we talking about next? What's our next subject here?
Sorry about that.
I was just gonna ask Toby, what did you initially like think when I came up to you and I was like, I'm gonna make this Backrooms movie, you know?
At first, I don't think I was really worried when you asked me because I was like, oh, cheap budget. Because, well, the thing about the backroom stuff that I've always enjoyed, especially from a film context, a lot of the best horror movies, I mean, look at Evil Dead, was this cheap budget thing. Like, they were low budget and they were effective horror. And so when you came to me with it, I was like, this could actually be something really, really fun. Because of the sole factor that, like, you don't have to worry about the camera being perfect either because it's a documentary style thing. So so it was really easy to not have to, it felt nice and refreshing not to have to worry about that stuff because I'm like, well, the main character is a film guy. The main character is a dude that's recording things. He's recording all this messed up stuff in this weird void place, the back rooms, you know? Yeah. And so I thought that was, so for me, I was like, it made me excited because I was like, oh, that means we can worry about the horror stuff and the build-up and like the story stuff, which I like that stuff the most when it comes to movies or stories or anything. Like I love whenever we have to delve into that stuff more than I like the technical stuff. I like the technical stuff and that stuff's fun, but it can be a pain to have to deal with. Oh, yeah. Like even just with podcasting stuff, like it's really difficult to get the audio ready. It's really difficult to get microphones set up. And multi-track, like that stuff's really hard. It's even harder when you're making a movie. or a short film or even a video. Like it takes a lot of time and patience and effort and a lot of equipment and a lot of people. And so what I liked about this is that with the production element that we had, we only needed the cameras and 2 or 3, 4 people. And that would just be actors. And then there was me and him basically filming everything. So I never really was worried. I think I was only worried when we started doing the monster stuff. Because there was even a point when I was throwing out the idea of like, what if, because I was already like, I'm taking off
my favorite part right here.
Yeah, so I took off my shirt, right? And I was like, well, what if we go to Walmart and we get a bunch of peanut butter and we just slather me in it? Because again, like, okay, and hear me out. So hear me out. I'm in a silhouette, right? If we get the peanut butter sticking and like looking pointy and looking weird and demented, and you see that silhouette, it's gonna look weird and creepy.
It's gonna look messed up.
It's gonna look messed up. It's gonna look like he's like the slosh monster. And so that's what I was like.
Tomato
that was,
sauce.
Yeah, like
pour the tomato
yeah.
sauce on.
That was an
gallons of
idea.
tomato.
That was an idea too. I was like, let's get peanut butter and some, tomatoes. We didn't do this. We didn't do this.
I know you didn't.
But it was an idea, and it was because I was like, because it's a silhouette.
The imagery is just enough to get me going.
Yeah, I know. But, like, and we laughed about it for a while whenever I was presenting this. But I was like, think about it though. Like, it would be effective in the context that I'm a silhouette. They're not going to see, especially when you see the actual clip of the final clip of me running. You don't see anything on me really. And so if I had that on me, it wouldn't have looked like a
It would
dude.
have looked like a part of your body.
Yeah, it would have looked like it was a part of me because you just see the shadow of me. And if we had all that stuff sticking out and looking at me, I would have looked like this weird demented humanoid monster thing. And that's what I was trying to go for. But for whatever reason, we didn't have the time to even do anything like that. And I didn't think we wanted, I think we also didn't want to spend a whole 2 hours trying to slather me in like tomato sauce and peanut butter and junk. So we were just like, take off your shirt and just look like you're twisted and contorted, and we'll go with that. But that was an idea, and we did consider it only because of the idea that like you only see the silhouette and he looks creepy and demented, and it's gonna look unnatural. And there's still a part of me that's like, I would have liked to have done that. just cause.
Yeah.
Because I'm all about doing stuff like that for movies.
And I really like. There's something to be said about the creativity that comes from laziness. Not laziness, but like.
How dare you?
No. Listen. This is a really good thing. So let me just hear me out. So I mean, people are like, well, I can't do this, or I have a certain limitation, so I need to do this.
Mm-hmm.
It could be laziness, or it could be a lack of funds, or it could be lack of anything.
Right.
It could be things out of your control. Like, for example, manga guy here, Akira Toriyama, if you don't know who that is, writer and creator of Dragon Ball, he has fantastic paneling. Like,
Yeah.
it flows so smoothly, especially in Z. A lot of that came from Toriyama just being lazy. And so,
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, I don't want to do this. It's like, or he wanted to do this, but I was like, I don't want to spend too much time on this, so it just went bam, 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 bam. Especially, you can see this a lot with the Nappa fight.
Mm-hmm.
With and I'm not going to dwell on this too long, but that's the reason why most of his, like 90% of his characters are bald, because he doesn't like drawing hair. As ironic as that sounds.
Well, that's the thing, is that for us, it wasn't really laziness. It was more, we have a limited time.
Right.
We only have a certain amount of time to use this hallway.
resource.
Because there's a whole bunch of basketball players that run back and forth through there too, and then
Right.
teachers and advisors.
Slipping on spaghetti sauce.
Yeah, and like that was the thing too, is that like, say we did slather me and all this stuff, I'm running with this stuff on me.
It's gonna drip
We
off
would
of
have
you.
had to clean that whole hallway. Not that I was against cleaning the hallway, because we made the mess. Like we would have made the mess, and so that wouldn't have, and I would have willingly done it. I mean, come on, I was willing to put myself. I was the one that was like, put me in peanut butter, man.
You offered to slather yourself in peanut butter.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
And other assorted sauces.
And it wasn't in any sexual way either, which is it was for the sake of the product we were working on.
For the sake of film.
For the sake of the film, yes, for the sake of the project. And so I was just like, yeah.
Myself in any cream you desire.
But I was the one that brought
sake
that
of
up.
the
I was like,
film.
let's just get some peanut butter and some tomato sauce, just slather me in all that junk, and I look like some weird demented swamp thing in this hallway. Let's do it. And we were like, well, we'd have to clean it up. We only have like an hour left to do this.
Yeah. I want to make it clear that was not laziness in this context. Does not mean like you're bad people that like, oh I can't be bothered to do this. Like, no, laziness can really help you out in some places when
can.
it comes to production.
But that's the thing, is that the only reason that anything like that, the only reason that that stuff was presented was just because we were like, look, we want the monster to look uncomfortably scary. And I think it still paid off without that stuff anyway. But we were just pretty much throwing stuff at the wall, being like, what can we do and what can we do now? Because we don't have a lot of time to do this.
Oh, speaking of time, Nick, how much time I got left?
We're 40 minutes. Huh?
Or 4 minutes in. Okay. Is there any other questions you got? I know I went on tangents a bunch.
But
sorry.
I was just gonna say the way we filmed it, like with the silhouette, we had like a bunch of lights behind there, and like with the whole of just setting it up, it was just kind of if we had the time to do that, I would have loved to just cover because that would have looked like really, really good,
Especially with the lighting we had, it would have definitely looked very scary.
It's a good scene. It's just such a good
Do you have the final clip?
I don't have it on here, but
Well, when we get the chance, I want to show Dustin because
I have it on one of the hard drives in my backpack. I can pull it out after.
Peanut butter man.
It is I, peanut butter salsa man.
I am here for your allergic people.
But
Specifically.
that's also like what I love is DIY filmmaking and like guerrilla filmmaking is like I love it. That's first off, I'm pretty much broke as crap.
Oh,
other
yeah, I
than
get it.
other than me trying to save up for that PC,
Right. Yeah.
But
I pay rent. I
know.
get it. It sucks.
but DIY filmmaking, especially even if you're a big budget person, you can come up with like really cool ways to do something.
And that's the thing, is that like peanut butter and salsa, like money wasn't the issue there necessarily.
Yeah.
The issue really was just like everything around, like pretty much the set was why we were like, maybe we shouldn't, because it's not like we own this hallway. We had to borrow it for like a couple hours, and messing it, this messing and trashing it up, that was, and someone seeing that, we
degenerates. We are filming in this hallway. If you so much as step foot, you will be shot on sight.
I wanted to. There was a part of me that was like, you know what? Let's just slather me in all this stuff, right? And I was gonna be like, I know I messed up there. I was gonna be like, slather me in all this stuff. And if someone walks by and they step in salsa or peanut butter, that's their fault. But we didn't.
Yeah, it's not like we have a designated sign that says "Sauce Man" right around the corner.
Plus, I would have loved to have seen. Imagine, that same woman that like saw me shirtless chasing after him. Imagine if she had seen that, but it was peanut butter and salsa all over me, and I'm just chasing after him. She would have been like, "What? What is this?" Like
That's like what I was thinking. Like I was thinking, like, what in the world are people gonna think? Like me with like a camera, some crazy guy that looks like he's been doing meth is running down the hallway, with his shirt off,
That's what I looked
running
like.
down. This guy's running down with a big heavy camera, just running down the hallway.
Oh yeah.
Like,
What's the thing? And so like imagine that. But if we did get to do the peanut butter salsa thing, and that keeps me awake at night.
There's always
you have
tomorrow,
nightmares.
Toby. There's always tomorrow, and our sponsor for this video, Pibs.
Raid Shadow Legends.
I will leave. And I will take Toby with me.
NordVPN.
NordVPN.
Dear God.
Oh man, that
Got
was,
any other
As
questions?
your lane.
But that was just. It was just a good project. I really
I had
loved
fun
how
with
just everything turned out, especially the interview right here. We got it right here.
No clip.
This
Scene
interview
24,
turned
take
out
two.
really good.
Action.
I don't know if this was the exact clip we used though.
I don't know if this is the same clip we used
So
either.
how did you get into the back rooms?
Basically, the whole movie he's interviewing people and being like, they're stuck in the back rooms, being like, how are you? And each person's usually like, yeah, I'm okay, it's fine, whatever. And then there's me, and I've been there a long time, and I'm like, and like, see, we even set up a tent in the other classroom just for this, but I'm basically just like babbling on, being like, I saw someone get killed.
I need my peanuts, man. I need my peanuts.
Where's my salsa? I have a peanut allergy, and you should have seen the thing in the back.
What is it like to live here?
But at the end of this scene, there's a bit where I like have Like the scene that and made it in the final cut was me flipping out and like grabbing the camera, being like,
That
way
was,
out.
that was the best scene right
Yeah.
there. I mean,
Yeah. I don't like it because I guess I don't like watching myself in movies
That's fair.
unless I'm
Oh,
like
yeah.
this peanut butter monster. Or
I
whatever.
don't like,
But-
I don't like seeing myself in anything either.
But that's the thing is that in it, it is a good scene, but it's because I'm just grabbing the camera and it's implied that the interviewer, Aaron's character, was like, "Is there a way out?" And I just lost it and was like, "There is no way out. Like you can't get out of here. You can't escape." Like just flipping out.
Of course you can make it out of here with your creamy hamstrings and milky thighs. So you'll get out of here in no time.
But no, yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing is that you see isn't it in the final cut? Like I say that and then you see the monster, or do you see the monster and then you see me flip out?
I think it's after you see the monster you flip
Yeah.
out. Like first, I think it's like
Because
the
it builds all that
interview-
up, and then you see the insane guy being like, "You can't get out of here," and there's a monster. Like I think that's what we were going for.
Yeah, it just
We also edited a chair looking like it was glitching out.
flipping out. I just wish we could have gotten the chair where
Yeah.
it was like upside down and then like
Yeah.
flopping around, but
We couldn't get it
Just
perfect.
wasn't
One
possible.
clip studio featuring Virgil's chair.
Well, we got one of the chairs in the lab I showed you.
Yeah.
We got one of those chairs. We filmed in that lab, and what I did was I filmed 2 separate shots. I filmed a shot. I should have filmed 3
yeah.
because I was the one that was like, I have an idea, and so I was like, let's film the chair just sitting there, and then we filmed that for a little bit. Cut.
Get a static shot.
Yeah. Moved the chair. Filmed without the chair there. But I filmed without the chair there and him coming in. What I should have done is I should have filmed a third thing with him coming in separate. And then put all 3 of those together. Because what we did with those 2 shots of the chair and the no chair, like we had it framed exactly the same, or as close as we could get. And so it's framed exactly the same, the camera anyway. But the chair's just in one shot and not in the other one. And all we did was, and we spliced those together, and it looks like the chair is literally glitching in and out of reality. He touches that chair, and then he's stuck in the back room. And that's when he starts interviewing people that are stuck there and all that. That's how we did it. That was fun. I loved working on that bit because like I don't get a lot with any project I do except for that one. I usually don't get a lot of time to mess with things like that and be like, how can we get something to look like it's glitching out of reality and stuff. I had a lot of fun messing with that. It didn't turn out perfect because again we had like 2 hours to edit it, but for like the time we had, it looked good. Like it looked pretty solid for the time we had. But like he said, he wanted to make it look like it was upside down, like glitching all over the place. And I was like, we don't have the budget for that. We have the budget to have it just sitting there and glitching. But I do regret that I didn't film you separate walking in because I filmed you in one of those 2 clips. And I should have been like, wait, let's film these 2 first, then do the third. Because then I could have put those together and it wouldn't have looked like your feet disappear. Because there's a bit where it's one of those things, if you blink, you'll miss it. But if you look closely in one of those glitching moments, the chair's glitching out. His foot glitches too, but you'll miss it. Like I promise you'll miss it because I didn't see it the first like 6 times I watched this. In the editing room. But I caught it and I was like, I can't fix that. I can't fix that. So that's the thing. You'll make mistakes, and that's okay.
And you learn from those mistakes, and
You
that's
do, yeah.
that's the thing that's so good about filmmaking is that everybody's like, oh, I need to have like a $6 million budget, all this, big fancy 4K camera, all that stuff. Like, you just gotta learn.
Yeah, you just
how
gotta
to,
learn.
how to do it. Learn how to write a story, make a story. Learn how to film with the camera, how to use the settings, all that stuff. Just play around.
Yeah, and we
with it.
played around a lot with no clip, and I had that, and I think that's why it was one of my favorite projects too. But it also was nice too because I wasn't alone. Like it wasn't something I had just made up and was working on my own. It was something that someone had presented to me and was like, "How can we do this?" And I was like, "Well, I would do this." And then we collabed and we, like you said, we threw stuff at the wall and just kind of bounced on it. I had a lot of fun working on that, so I'm excited to work on the next project you guys are gonna be working on the next year.
Yeah. All right, so unfortunately we've reached all our time we have today for this episode. Any final thoughts or anything like that?
No, thank you for having me. I always like talking about film stuff. I could talk about this for years.
I'm sure
I
you
can
could.
still be fine. I've wanted to make movies since I was like 5.
Of course,
so
yes. This
But-
has been very hilarious to listen to, and I have had a good time. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
So please like, subscribe. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Farewell.
See you.